was always Team Justin, and at least I withheld judgment because I have seen Blake, and she is problematic when she's just being herself.
Justin Baldoni's defamation suit tossed? And is Colleen Hoover allegedly retiring amidst the drama? It ends with us author Colleen Hoover has completely deactivated her Instagram. Over 2 million followers are now just gone.
Blake Lively's team. And I first saw this on Legal Bites' Twitter, and she had some interesting and funny comments.
The ongoing drama between Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Colleen Hoover just took an unexpected turn, and let's just say, Blake might be regretting her latest move. With legal battles heating up, public statements flying, and shocking twists unfolding, fans and insiders alike are gripped by what's shaping up to be Hollywood's messiest feud of the year. So what exactly did Blake do that's causing such an uproar? And how have Colleen Hoover and Justin Baldoni responded? Let's dive into the latest updates that have everyone talking.
And some suspect frustration with Justin that she sold the book before it took off and didn't make as much money as she could have, and Justin wasn't gonna give her the rights back when he got it at a steal. Most people suspect that's where she started to not like Justin, that Justin was keeping more money from her. And when you see this It Ends With Us coloring book, it does sure look like she's out there to make a buck off of her audience. Two things she was so worried about in the beginning before she got mega famous and rich. She instead was getting her audience to buy coloring books about a DV plotline. Anyway, obviously this was bad. A lot of people were upset. She had to apologize. Coloring book was developed with Lily's strength in mind.
Things escalated when Blake publicly accused Justin Baldoni of disrespect during a recent interview. Sources say tensions had been building behind the scenes, but few expected Blake to air grievances so directly and publicly. Fans immediately took sides, with some defending Blake's right to speak out, while others felt her timing was strategically aimed at derailing Baldoni's momentum in court. Legal experts warn that public statements like this can backfire during ongoing litigation, something Blake may not have fully considered.
It continues, claiming that the attorney's eyes-only PO that Team Blake wishes to see put in place for discovery, depositions, and more has been warped in its intent and reach. Lively's attorneys told Judge Lyman Tuesday in a letter that, in fact, the travels of the mischaracterization embraced by the opposition through this manufactured echo chamber by itself provides ample justification for okay, it's long and it's confusing. So here's what I did. I took that entire paragraph and I put it into ChatGPT. I said, what does this mean? And here's what ChatGPT spat out for me. It says, in short, Lively's lawyers believe the opposing side is twisting the purpose of the protective order, and ironically, this distortion itself provides why a strict order is necessary to prevent misuse of private information. So not only do they ask for the protective order, but then now they're mad because the purpose of the protective order is apparently being twisted. It's like, no, I mean, it feels like Goldilocks, like the house is too small, the house is too big. Justin Baldoni's team is coming back and saying, this is strange. I mean, she came out publicly with the entire thing with the New York Times and then with the CRD complaint. And of course, she's coming out publicly with all of her claims and talking, to the press with everything else. Why now does she need to be quiet when everything else has been public? And of course, they even mentioned that she went to SNL and she joked about it. I mean, her husband did at least. So now you want to be quiet? And Lively's attorney, Michael Gottlieb, responded with a 4-page letter saying, leaving aside the callous disregard and disrespect for a woman advocating for the most basic workplace protections against sexual harassment, the Wayfarer party's positions that a woman who speaks up against sexual harassment.
If the tension wasn't high enough, Blake dropped a bombshell by calling out what she referred to as Baldoni's 5 mistresses. The accusation sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with many questioning whether Blake's claim was relevant or just a distraction tactic. Justin's team quickly denied the allegations, labeling them as character attacks meant to shift attention away from the core issues of the lawsuit. Regardless of intent, the move has fueled public curiosity, but legal analysts say it might weaken Blake's case in court.
I was always Team Justin, and at least I withheld judgment because I have seen Blake, and she is problematic when she's just being herself, so defensive and offensive, all in the same interaction. She's troubled, but defensiveness, and you are right 100%, this is narcissism. I'm a clinical psychologist, so I can say that, and I like all clinical And like all clinical narcissists, sooner or later, their behavior gets them in trouble. I hope I'm not a clinical narcissist. But thank you guys for the reviews on Apple Podcasts. Please keep them coming. And I believe as of we're like just under 70,000 subscribers here on YouTube. You guys, are we about to break 70K this week? Can we make it happen by the end of day? By EOD today?
Perhaps the most unexpected twist came when Colleen Hoover, the author behind It Ends With Us, reportedly quit her involvement with the film adaptation amid the growing controversy. Insiders suggest that Colleen was fed up with the drama overshadowing the project. Fans of the book expressed disappointment, blaming both Blake and Justin for letting personal feuds derail the movie. This development is a huge blow to the production, raising questions about whether the film will even move forward.
Justin Baldoni's defamation suit tossed? And is Colleen Hoover allegedly retiring amidst the drama? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signar. We've been live. What a show it's been. We've had a lot of fun on here, and you guys should definitely check out the full stream. We had a blast. Check it out. Let's go through these latest updates, though. I wanted to recap a lot of the stuff we've covered, including Colleen Hoover allegedly retiring amidst the It Ends With Us drama. We're going to go there in a second, but first, Blake and Ryan are aiming to have Justin's suit tossed. Judge, don't even humor it. It's all lies. Let's just come on, Judge, you know it's us, Deadpool and the girl who married Deadpool. We don't need to go through all this, do we? You want to come by a Taylor Swift concert and say instead, huh? I don't know Colleen Hoover. I don't have strong opinions about her, to be honest. I don't. All I know is she tried to sell a coloring book of It Ends With Us, and that didn't go over well. It didn't go over well with fans. We went through sort of the bad stuff that Colleen and her son, who was young at the time, did. But again, all of it, it's just she just wanted to make some money. Her son might be weird. I never saw her actually specifically come at Justin. Not yet. And it's interesting because as I was sort of playing this out to the audience that was watching, I assume Blake Lively piled it on pretty thick. And there's a part of me, again, I need to hear more. I don't know, but if Colleen was sold...
Amid the chaos, Justin Baldoni's measured response has not gone unnoticed. Rather than firing back with personal attacks, Baldoni focused on sticking to the facts and keeping things professional. Fans praised his gracious demeanor, with many pointing out how challenging it must be to stay calm amid constant accusations. Public support for Baldoni seems to be growing as more people appreciate his refusal to engage in mudslinging.
That's what we need to do to make it the best. And like, she was super involved in, like, you know, the film being done to actually the film being what you guys are going to see. And she really, like, as the author of this story initially, like, authored, you know, a lot of, like, shaping, once it was done, once it was made, really shaping what we had to feel like it was the best version it could be.
And that's all thanks to Blake. Like, you've been so collaborative. Like, I just can't even explain to you what the last few weeks have meant to me. I'm going to be nice right now, but then I'll go back to being, myself. But honestly, as an author, just the fact that Blake fought for my voice to be heard, like, I just can't even tell you what you hope Blake Lively is. She's that and a million times.
Adding to the drama, Colleen Hoover suddenly deleted her Instagram account, sparking intense speculation. Was it due to fan backlash? Was she trying to distance herself from the controversy? Or did internal pressures from the film's production company force her hand? Whatever the reason, the move has only fueled rumors that behind-the-scenes tensions are worse than anyone realized.
As we go back and really look into this, and the lawsuit revealed, Colleen Hoover was a big fan of Justin Baldoni. The emails have sort of proven the fact that, he went in and bought this book when it wasn't that popular back in 2019 before it took off on TikTok and other places. He was talking about how he couldn't get It Ends With Us off my mind. Such an important story, so damn romantic and beautiful and tragic and hopeful. I always say that both art and life are the best stories are always two things at once. This is so much of what your book is, joy and pain, love and sorrow. You did such a beautiful job covering difficult subject matter, playing it realistic. I love that you held nothing back from the part of Lily and Ryle's past. I love that you really are no bad guys and that we are all sons of our experiences and our trauma. I love the opportunity for narration and stunning and gorgeous impact of a title at the payoff at the end.
In a surprising courtroom maneuver, Blake's legal team filed a motion aimed at discrediting key evidence from Baldoni's side. However, legal experts were quick to call it a tactical blunder. One prominent attorney noted that challenging evidence without solid grounds can backfire, painting Blake as desperate rather than confident. The court's reaction wasn't favorable either. Judges reportedly expressed skepticism toward Blake's legal argument.
Conversation they had with Blake Lively's team. And I first saw this on Legal Bites' Twitter, and she had some interesting and funny comments about it, and I agree with most of them, but I wanted to take a second to read through this and just tell you what it's like as a lawyer if you were to know this about a client. Before you go in and take their deposition, or before you go in and question them at trial, when you're about to litigate probably what's going to be a multi-year case against them, and you start hearing things like this from the beginning, what it makes you think. And I've actually had this type of question asked in cases before, so I know how judges usually deal with it, but this is Blake Lively. This is Ryan Reynolds. Are they going to get some kind of preferential treatment? And what will the public think and say about that? Very interesting. If you can't see the words on this letter, don't worry. I'm going to read every single one of them. Dear Judge Lyman, as counsel for Wayfarer Studios LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, they are objecting to Brian Friedman taking Blake Lively's deposition. Specifically, the Lively Party's counsel indicated that they object to Brian J. Friedman personally taking Miss Lively's deposition based upon unspecified statements made by Mr. Friedman. When asked to elaborate on the grounds for their objection, counsel for Lively Party declined to do so. So it's even worse than saying exactly why she doesn't want it. They won't tell you why. Now, we've heard, I'm going to sue her into oblivion, this was a mistake.
Despite the chaos, Baldoni's steady approach is beginning to pay off. Recent polls show that public opinion is shifting in his favor, with many citing his composure and focus on professionalism. Fans and industry insiders alike have praised Baldoni for not stooping to personal attacks, instead choosing to let the facts speak for themselves. Meanwhile, Blake's emotional outbursts and inflammatory remarks have some wondering if she's losing control of the narrative.
It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. As far as I understand, she is quite a controversial author. And from what I see on the interwebs, people kind of claim that she romanticizes DV in her books. Now, this is the first and only book that I've read by Colleen Hoover. I'm an avid reader. I love reading. My favorite genres is romance, dark romance, romantic suspense, and thriller. So this kind of was right up my reading alley. Okay. Also, because I read a lot of dark romance, this wasn't too heavy for me that I felt like triggered by it, if that makes sense. I read a lot of dark books. This is the only Colleen Hoover book I read, so I can't speak on her other work. I do own 2 of her books. I've Verity and Ugly Love, but it's on my never-ending TBR. So this is the only book I have to reference of this author. So then I went and watched the movie, again, blissfully unaware of any drama. And I did not hate the movie, guys. I really didn't. I feel like if I watch it now, I might feel differently, or I might see things I didn't see then.
In a comment that didn't go unnoticed, Colleen Hoover was recently quoted as referring to Justin Baldoni by name, while pointedly avoiding mentioning Blake. Many saw it as a subtle form of shade, especially given the recent tension between the three. Fans speculated that Colleen's clear alignment with Baldoni could further isolate Blake in this messy situation. If Hoover is indeed distancing herself from Blake, it could significantly impact the actress's public support.
I think they did the book justice.
I think so too. And I was wondering, I mean, How hard is it to entrust your vision with someone else? Because you spent a lot of time on this book. You got such great fan reception.
Right.
To hand it over, but you're still working on it, but to trust this collaborative project. Was that difficult for you?
Yeah, it is difficult. And I actually was offered, other people had offered to buy film rights to this book before Justin came along, but it was the letter he wrote to me. I really felt like he understood the book and the characters and wanted to do the subject matter justice. And so it felt right giving it to him. And yeah, so I think he did a great job.
Yeah. And how involved were you on set and making sure that your vision was still intact?
I wasn't super involved. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to take any credit. I was on set for about 1 to 2 weeks, more as like a spectator. I was just there enjoying everything. And I felt like everyone that had a hand in this movie brought their own talent to it and their own passion. And, I didn't want to get in the way of that. I probably maybe would have if I thought it was going in the wrong direction, but I never felt that way. So it was actually pretty easy to trust them.
Ryan Reynolds, ever the public figure, tried to lighten the mood surrounding the lawsuit with a quip at a recent event, but the joke didn't land. Instead, it came across as tone-deaf, given the seriousness of the allegations. Fans criticized Ryan for downplaying the situation, with some suggesting he should stay out of it rather than risk making things worse. Even Blake's supporters admitted that humor was not the right approach given the high stakes involved.
Blake Lively's learning the hard way that Cord is not Hollywood. She's now made multiple attempts to gag Justin Baldoni and his attorney, now wants the case dismissed, and now is fighting back against a deposition. So in a newly released letter, we are now finding out that Blake Lively is not happy with Justin Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman. So much so that she's fighting back and doesn't want to be deposed by him. I'm sorry, come again. You don't get to, this isn't a Colleen Hoover movie. You don't get to pick and choose who you have to work with and who you don't. Sorry, Blake, but your dragons don't work here. She reportedly is claiming that she doesn't want Brian Friedman to depose her because of unspecified statements that he's made about her. You mean like when he said that they had plans to sue her into oblivion?
In what many thought was a last-ditch effort, Blake's legal team attempted to get the entire case thrown out. Unfortunately for her, the judge rejected the motion, citing insufficient grounds for dismissal. The ruling was a significant win for Baldoni, whose team celebrated the decision as validation of their claims. Blake's camp, meanwhile, was left scrambling for their next move, but with mounting legal fees and dwindling public support, options are running out.
But of course, Blake and Ryan can never and will never take any accountability. So yet again, they're trying to just have it be thrown away because, they're rich, famous people. That's what they're doing. So I don't know, Blake. Yeah, I think you're going to need to get some more dragons on this one because this isn't going away the way you think it is. In fact, you've now gotten Colleen Hoover seemingly so upset she's now retiring. Now you're going to blame Justin and his minions. Oh, his audience is so toxic. But let's take a moment to really think about this. This is coming in from Demu.
As the dust settles from this latest round of drama, the future remains uncertain. Will Blake double down on her accusations, or will she seek a settlement to stop the bleeding? Will Colleen Hoover return to the project, or has she washed her hands of the mess? And can Justin Baldoni maintain his composure as tensions continue to rise? One thing's for sure, this isn't over. With new twists emerging almost daily, Hollywood is watching, and so is the world.
If she's going around doing this to Cast and to Colleen, there's a version of the story where I could have some empathy for them. They've been brainwashed. She's been offering them really delicious looking Kool-Aid served by Taylor Swift at an Eras Tour concert. So there is a version that's like, look, in Hollywood, that's how you succeed. You stab each other in the back. You need to get networked to famous people to keep working. Otherwise, you're thrown to the wolves and you don't get another gig.
Blake Lively's latest misstep has only escalated tensions in this explosive legal feud. From accusations of disrespect and alleged betrayals to Colleen Hoover's shocking exit, this saga has become a masterclass in Hollywood drama. And with Justin Baldoni staying cool under pressure, Blake's desperate moves seem to be backfiring fast.
Okay, let's get into Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni and Baldoni's 5 mistresses. What? 5 mistresses and 5 psychiatrists? Say what? Okay, so Blake Lively is amending her subpoena. She's doing a lot of amendments these days, right? She's like, oh, fine, let me change it if I must. So she is amending her subpoena request of the Wayfarers party's phone records, right? Because she was like, I want to go back 2.5 years and we need to go. And it seemed like there was this big fishing expedition that she was trying to do. She didn't have any strong evidence, especially when it comes to proving the alleged smear campaign and the involvement of Jed Wallace. So Baldoni's team argued that the subpoena was overbroad, right? It was far-reaching, far beyond the scope of what the fishing expedition.
As the case continues to unfold, one question remains. Can Blake turn things around? Or has she made a mistake too big to fix? Only time will tell, but right now, things aren't looking good for her.